Well, welcome back to script recognition video number 3. I'm amazed that you've got this far. Actually, I'm amazed we've got this far. And there's Anne, my trusty friend behind the camera. Say hello, Anne.
Hello.
Can I show a picture of you yet, Anne? Oh, we'll get you eventually. All right, today's script is one that's actually very close to my heart. This is the script that I learned from the beginning. I was fluent in this one for a long time, and I'm going to show you something that is very precious to me. If we had a fire in the flat, this is the first thing I would save. So we're going to talk about, get your head around this, half uncial, insular majuscules. Now you know it's going to be all capitals because it's a majuscule script, and you know the difference in that because I'm sure you'll remember that the thin horizontals show you that it's a majuscule with a thick downstroke. Insular, you might not know what that is. Insular is from the Latin insularum, which means of the islands. And this script developed in Ireland and came across with the monks with St. Columba to Iona and Lindisfarne and Melrose Abbey and all those places. So this book I was given in the 70s. And this book is a very early facsimile of the Book of Kells. I'm just going to put the board up so Anne can see more clearly what we're talking about. When I got this book, I was so blown away because it is so beautifully written. It's blew me away with the colours as well, the way that you've got colours within the lettering, and it's just enchanting. I think they have a better version of it now because we saw them at the Anglo-Saxon Kingdoms exhibition. But this is my copy and I absolutely love it. I'm just going to show you a couple of pages so you can see what we're talking about. When I do half uncials, I base my half uncials on this book, the Book of Kells. The Lindisfarne Gospels was about 100 years earlier in the early 7th century, 8th century, and it's slightly different. But the letters I'm going to show you for script recognition are the same on both of them. So I will explain about all of that. Okay, you have got enough? Okay, let me put this out of the way then because it weighs a ton. This is my own version of the Amiotinus because it's just so heavy. But a fabulous book. All right, so here we are. Let's get down to some serious business because I do tend to waffle on a bit. Right, glasses on. I'm hoping that you will recognize now that this is the one that we discussed last time. I rewrote it. This is the uncial script. This is not insular. This one came from Rome with the early Christians. St. Augustine, his Gospels are written in this script, or a version of it, as St. Cuthbert's as well. What I've done is I've made some little pink marks to show you the differences. This script, I described actually as a dowager, a kind of queen sort of arrangement. Well, I'm actually going to give you a name for this script and I'll show you, and you'll know why in a minute. In fact, you might well get ahead of me on that one. I'm going to call the uncial script, although it was earlier than her, Ethelfled, which is a name that we all know. And this script is the half uncial insular majuscule, which followed it. This one started around about the 6th century. On looking at it, you'll see they're quite similar. They've got the strong downstrokes and they've got the narrow horizontals. But there are differences. But this one has attitude. This one is very masculine. This one has serifs. These are called wedge serifs. And on the downstroke, there's a slight thickening on the last kind of third. So instead of having nice, sexy curves, very feminine, a nice kind of cheeky, rather nice, fun serifs, we've now got really strong ones. And this letter standing on the line, staring straight at you, bristling with vigor. So if you can think of it, this one really is more like a warrior. So we've got a shield wall going on here, and we're going to call this one Athelstan. How about that? Bit of fun, really. The serious business is don't get too serious. It's just words on a page. And the cat is drinking my water. You want to get Veedy? thinking, I can tell you that water is dirty. What a mad thing. Honestly, Beanie, you can't take you anywhere. All right, for that distraction. All right, let's get down to what the differences are. Because the whole point of these videos is to actually is to help you identify what you're looking at. These lovely curves are uncials. Straight, they are half uncials. Look at the difference in the G. Look at the difference in the M and the N. There are differences all over the place, but the ones that instantly are recognizable as a half uncial are the G and the N, and all the rest would follow. So once you've got them, you're okay. I've written here 1524 because although when you get the modern books, you get these, the J, there was no J in the medieval period. That was invented in 1524 when there was a need. By that time, we were into Gothic, which is now out of our period. But the Gothic became so compressed, you couldn't find the letter. You couldn't find the letter I. So they separated it, and they dotted that. And J, they decided to have a symbol for the sound of J, which before used to be done with an I. So that one shouldn't really be there. But I put it in so I'd remember to tell you about it. Another thing that people don't recognize with the book, with the half uncial, and also it is in Lindisfarne Gospels, there are 2 Ds. You're going to get a D like that. And if Anne can use cross, you're going to get a D like that. And that depends on where it is regarding the vowels. You see, I've written here to remind me because I'm not good with these things. After an A and O, that's called an uncial D, which has got that kind of curve over. But the upright one, which is a minuscule D, that is after E, I, and U, but occasionally also if there's an L in between. So when you see that letter, it's not a C and a straight L, because there's the L with a curve, it's a D. Apart from that, I think all the other letters are pretty recognizable. And the other difference that we're going to come across is that. Can you see that little mark? It's called a dart. And I will show you how to do the dart when I finish, just giving you a little bit of a writing. I'm going to write something, a passage from the Historia Ecclesiastica, which is written by Bede, and which was actually featured this morning in a post by Marie Hilda. So hi, Marie. I need to find my quill. The quill right in front of my nose, of course it is. I'm going to write this bit even before he had been made bishop. So that's the English. So let me just write this so you can see what the half uncial's like when you're writing it. Once again, you need to do ladder. Now, normally you'll see in all the books that it tells you to do half uncials with a nib height of 4. Well, I find 4 a little bit dense, and I normally do it 4.5 to 5. A lot of these things are for guide, and I just break the rules when it suits. They're there to guide you, and you can do, as long as you don't make it too dense or too skinny, you'll get away with it. Book of Kells, I mentioned it, and the Book of Kells varies between 4.5 and 5, so I'm quite happy to be doing it this way. But if you want to do it 4 and be, more pucker, then, go ahead and do it with 4. But I'm going to do it. I can't see it up there. So let me do this here. All right, so here we go. I'm going to do a slightly bigger H. Not terribly straight. All right, that's the wedge serif. Now, there's 2 ways of doing that wedge serif. And you just go down this way. Oh, no, I'll do it over here. You can do it with 2 overlapping strokes, like that, which you want to join properly. You can do it by going sideways slightly and then coming down at a bit of an angle. You've got to be careful with that, because if you go too far, then you end up with a big sticky out bit. Or the easiest way is to do that like you did for the uncials. Pick it up exactly where you started, because you're always moving the wet ink around, and then put it there. And then you have to watch that you don't kind of go over the other edge. It's just practice. It's not difficult to do. All right, so here we go. We've made a right dog's breakfast of that one, but there we go. All right, we're going to make a thing. I'm just doing a little twist of the pen to put a little pattern on the end, which is very Book of Kells. Here my dump sheet, because I've got a lot of ink. This is a very, very big pen. Half unseal obviously means half inch, because it's unseal is an inch. This is a half inch. So Athelstan, of course, would have been half the age of, say, Athelflaed if he was alive. Right. So, and remember what I remember what I did before. I'm sorry, she does make me laugh. Think in 3 letters at a time. Do not try and be clever and think of words. If I could do this without being distracted completely with the cat. All right. Now, into the wet ink always. Pull it round. You don't just leave it there. Take it back. You see how far I've taken it back? I've taken it back about 1 millimeter. You must take the pressure off the pen and push it up. And you get a little thicken in the end. You could do that with 2 strokes. You could go like that and then go over and do it, but it's just easier to push it up. But you've got to be careful. If it digs in, you'll splutter. All right, so now again we're going to do the same. We're going to just do that and just, you see, splutter. Too much pressure. It's full of it can be full of pitfalls if you're not careful what you're doing. And I'm trying to talk and write, so I'm not concentrating like I normally would. That's a bit skinny. There's that on there. Now we're going to do, they often used to just join on. So we're going to do an N now. Sorry about the squeaking. I hate the quill on paper. Now the Book of Kells has got a slightly flattened E. If you're doing the Lindisfarne Gospels, their E is round, like that. But the Book of Kells, they slightly flatten it like that. It doesn't matter which one you go for. The thing is to be consistent. If you're going to go with the round E, make all of your E's round. If you're going to make them flat, make them all flat. If you make one mistake, it's not going to be so noticeable if everything is basically looking the same before you start. So what we got here, P-R-I. You see how I still do the 3-letter thing. P, R, I. Flat to the line, strong. S-Q-U. This is not my best calligraphy. I am not really trying to be really perfect here. I'm only trying to show you how you're moving around the paper. And that looks like a G. It's not. It's a Q. 13. How many? 13. Oh, gosh. U. Okay. A-M. And I'm going to stop at the end of this. I was going to tell you about ruling up, but we'll leave it there today and we'll put ruling up at the end of next one. Thank you. Say goodbye, Anne.
Goodbye.
And goodbye from me too. Bye.